हरे कृष्ण।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो
ओम नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी.
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी।
Reading from chapter 9 from Bhagavad Gita as it is, the most confidential knowledge, titled the most confidential knowledge, and the verse is 26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
yo me bhaktya prayashyati
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति
tad aham bhakti upahartam
तत् अहं भक्ति उपहृतं
ashnami prayatmatmana.
यस्नामि प्रयतात्मना।
Patram pushpam phalam toyam
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति
तद अहम भक्ति उपहर्तम
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मना.
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
यानी प्रभु जी और माता जी,
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
पत्रम पुष्पम फलम तोयम
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
यो मे प्रयश्यति
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
उपहर्तम
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मना.
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयश्यति
तदहं भक्तिरोहतम्
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
तदहं भक्ति अपहृतम्
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
तदहं भक्ति उपहृतम्
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः
अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः।
Word by word meaning. Patram, a leaf.
Patram, a leaf.
Pushpam, a flower.
Pushpam.
Pushpam, a
Flower.
flower.
Phalam, a fruit.
Phalam.
Phalam, a
A
fruit.
fruit.
Toyam, water.
Toyam.
Toyam,
Toyam,
water.
water.
Ya, whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoever.
whoever.
Me, unto me.
Me
Me
unto me.
unto me.
Bhaktya, with devotion.
Bhakti.
Bhaktya, with
with
devotion.
devotion.
Prayashyati, offers.
Prayachati,
Prayashati,
offers.
offers.
Tat, that.
Tat,
Tat,
that.
that.
Aham, I.
Aham,
Aham,
I.
I.
Bhakti upahartam, offered in devotion.
Bhakti
Bhakti
uparatam,
upahartam.
offered in devotion.
Asnami, accept.
Asnami,
Amen.
accept.
Accept.
Prayata atmana, from one in pure consciousness.
From one
Pratyaya atmana, from one in pure consciousness.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki jai.
If one offers me
If
If
one
one
offers
offers
me
me
with love and devotion
with love
with
and
love
love
and
and
devotion,
devotion,
a leaf,
a
a
leaf,
leaf,
a flower,
a
a
flower,
flower,
a fruit,
a
fruit,
fruit,
or water,
or
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 water,
water,
I will accept it.
I
I
will
will
accept
accept it.
it.
Any Prabhuji or Mataji would like to read this page of this purport?
For the
For the
intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord in order to achieve a permanent, blissful abode for eternal happiness. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by the poorest of the poor without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It does not matter what one is or where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or a little water or fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one, therefore, can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by this simple method and thus attain the highest perfectional life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge?
Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else would like to read this page?
Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotee. He does not want any kind of offering from a non-devotee. He is not in need of anything from anyone because he is self-sufficient, and yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange of love and affection. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse in order to declare more emphatically that bhakti or devotional service is the only means to approach Krishna. No other condition, such as becoming a Brahman, a learned scholar, a very rich man, or a great philosopher, can induce Krishna to accept some offering. Without the basic principle of bhakti, nothing can induce the Lord to agree to accept anything from anyone. Bhakti is never casual. The process is internal. It is direct action in service to the absolute whole.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to read this page?
Here, Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what type of sacrifices he desired to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then one who should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus, meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offering, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flowers, and water to be given to him. And he says of this offering, I will accept it. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else would like to read this page?
In the third chapter, verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for the consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of the material and entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of the material nature. But preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such humble offering enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body and to create the brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food since he already possesses everything that be. Yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in the preparation in serving and offering is to act with love for Krishna.
Anybody else would like to read this page?
The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To them, it is either a metaphor or proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. But in actually, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so, in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering push-up is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized because of his absolute position. His hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he described himself without interpretation can understand that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. What a verse. Let's all chant together. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya
Chakshurmilitam
Shri Gurave
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन
स्थापितमेन
भूतले
भूतले
स्वयं
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 रूप
रूप
कदा
कदा
मह्यं
मह्यं
ददाति
ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्
स्वपदान्तिकम्
वन्देऽहं
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 श्रीगुरो
श्रीगुरो
श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरु वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं
निरूपं
साग्रजातं
सागरजातं
सकल रघुनाथान्वितं तं
रघुनाथान्वितं तं
सजीवम्
सजीवं
साद्वैतं
साद्वैतं
सावधूतं
सावधूतं
परिजन
हरिजन
सहितं
सहितं
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
चैतन्य देव
गणललिता श्री
श्री राधा
विशाखान्वितं
कृष्ण पादा
हे कृष्णा करुण सिन्धो
करुणा
बंदो
सिन्धु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धु
बंदो
जगत्पते
जगतपते गोपेश
गोपेश
गोपिका कांत
कान्त
राधा कांत
राधाकान्त
नमोस्तुते
नमस्तुते तप्त
तप्त
काञ्चन
कांचन
गौराङ्गी
गौरांगी
राधे
राधे
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते
वृषभानुसुते
देवी प्रणामि हरि प्रिय
हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः
नमो नमः
जय
जय
श्रीकृष्ण
श्री कृष्ण
चैतन्य
चैतन्य
प्रभु
प्रभु
नित्यानन्द
नित्यानंद
श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर
गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर
शिवासादि
भक्तावृंद
गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 हरे हरे
हरे राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे
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 हरे. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Saturday evening Sangha, where we take one verse at a time and try to meditate, discuss, and share our realizations. And what a verse Krishna is saying in terms of responding to Arjuna. He is explaining what he can accept. You know, most of the time we often give gifts to others, but often the gifts are not well accepted because they're not ready to accept. So here Krishna so beautifully is explaining what he can accept, in what mood he can accept. And here Krishna is explaining bhakti two times. He is saying yome bhaktya prayashyati tad aham bhakti upahartam. So bhakti is a very critical thing in our life, whether we lead a life of a family or grihastha or a vanaprastha or a brahmacharya or sannyasa. Bhakti is very important because without bhakti, which is devotion or love, nothing is really going to fly, because Bhagavad Gita is a tenet for bhakti. In every sloka you see, there is an element of thing which leads to loving devotional service, or loving the supreme. So here Krishna so beautifully is explaining that he can just receive a leaf if offered with love, he can receive a flower if offered with love, and he can receive a fruit, and he can receive water with love. But so as you can see, it is not what you give which is important to Krishna, it is how you give which is important to Krishna. You may get the topmost dishes and vegetables, but if you have a kid, your son or daughter, and you throw that nice little samosa or vegetable chop or whatever beautiful thing you end up getting, the, the kid is not going to accept it. The kid is looking not for the samosa in the food, he's actually looking for love from you. So Krishna is says everything comes from me, right? Aham sarvasya prabhu. That means this entire universe, as we discussed, to Karnadakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kirodakshaya Vishnu, emanates from him. He sits, he sleeps in the causal ocean, and from the pores, universes come out. And then, as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he goes localized and goes into every universe. So everything comes from me. So this entire creation, through this creation, uh, comes from him. So when a gardener, for example, is working in somebody's garden, he is entitled to work, create flowers and fruits, and then he gets his paycheck. But it doesn't give him the right to pluck flowers. He can pluck once or twice, but gradually, if he plucks flowers from the garden, sometime the owner of the garden is going to catch He's going to say, why are you taking flowers from my garden? You are an employee and you are not supposed to. So taking something from a place where you're working, like you're working in a place, you cannot take anything and everything from that place. You're doing a service, they're giving you salary. But that doesn't mean you can take away all the commodities and all the items. So likewise, a gardener in this example cannot take, even if he's working. So if he ends up taking, it's considered a sin. So we, through this, the process of material creation, Krishna has created this world. And if we are consuming anything from his world, it is very important for us to recognize that if we do not offer to him and consume, eat, drink, lavishly enjoy, we are actually committing a sin, like exactly like the gardener who, just because he is working, he cannot have the sense of proprietorship. Just because you marry someone, whether it is a husband and wife, you cannot have the sense of proprietorship for him, because they are all part and parcel of someone supreme. Aham bija pradapita. That means your husband, wife, kids, they are all somebody else's creation. And just because you get married, just because you are a CEO, just because you are the chief minister or a prime minister, you do not have the right to that person in whatever way you can. So that's why the sense of proprietorship is very important to understand this verse. Why is Krishna saying this? He's saying it with a beautiful, philosophy that it doesn't matter what you give, but how you give. But behind the scene, our acharyas have mentioned that we should shed the sense of proprietorship. Once you shed the sense of proprietorship in anything you do, you would appreciate this verse 100 times, because it's not just the verse which is important to understand. It's the consciousness with you which you absorb this verse, which is important. So the first thing which to accept and absorb this verse is we should shun the sense of proprietorship. Once you shun the sense of proprietorship, you will understand this verse very well, and we can only appreciate and discuss about this verse, and we'll not do some kind of a talk on this, because this is very simple if it is understood, if we have understood the sense of proprietorship. And Srila Prabhupada has taken it to a very higher level. When you went through this purport, you will see there are so many things Krishna is talking about here. So it doesn't matter what we offer, it's how you offer which is important. How and what we offer is very much important in this verse. So Krishna is saying what to offer. You can offer a leaf, flower, fruit, and flower. So anything which is not part of these four things, when you end up offering in the form of something which is not constitutional, Srila Prabhupada went on to say, anything which has violence attached to it, Krishna is not going to accept the offering. So we have to think about what to offer. And the main intent, the main spice of offering is how to offer, how pleasingly we offer, how humbly we offer, how with service mentality we offer. So that is critical here. And of course, Krishna is saying you can only offer these four things, not anything from anything else. So, but here, if we really want to take this verse to a different level, let's try to understand the flower angle, which is explained in the Pancharatra. In Pancharatra, it is mentioned, Ahimsa Prathamam Pushpam Pushpam Indriya Nigraha, Sarva Bhuta Daya Pushpam, Shama Pushpam Visesata, Jnanam Pushpam Tapa Pushpadyam Pushpam Tathaiva, Cha Satyam Astavidam Pushpam Vishnu Pritikaram Bhavet. That means Ahimsa, that means anything where there is no violence attached. That is a tenet for pushpa or flower. So any flower or anything where there is no violence, Krishna is going to accept it. And anything where is the element of sense control, there are certain flowers which can take us away from the sense control. So those are not something which is a tendency to be offered or an item to be offered. So we should offer with sense control. So anything we offer, it is not just material, it's absolute, as Krishna has mentioned. So anything without sense control is something to be offered. Anything with sense control, I'm sorry. What I mean by that is anything which uh, for which you have a sense of controlling your senses, and with right consciousness you offer to Krishna. That mindset is a way to offer. And then we should also have compassion, shama, showing compassion. Shama is certain things which is not very obvious, so it has to be created within you, it has to be inculcated within you. So whenever you offer, you need to have compassion. When any item you're offering, make sure there is compassion built into that, and an element of shama. And then daya, or and the fourth is the flower of tolerance and patience. So wherever you try to cook with patience, you get the items with a lot of tolerance, not with something which you have got the money with force from somebody else. So those are some of the inner tenets of this pushpa, as mentioned in Pancharatra. And the fifth flower is transcendental knowledge. With the right knowledge and right consciousness, we have to offer. And then austerity, we have to be very clear. And as you can see from this, these are actually the four tenets or the four pillars of Dharma. We talked about the four pillars of Dharma, and those four pillars of Dharma are austerity, cleanliness, truthfulness, and compassion, which is essentially being very part and parcel of this offering methodology. And the seventh is the contemplative meditation on the Lord. So you're constantly meditating that, hey, Krishna was a makhan chor, so when I offer makhan to him, he would accept it in that. So you're constantly meditating. Like, for example, if you're thinking about Lord Jagannath and you're offering something, Lord Jagannath is a chappan bhogi, but there are certain items which are very dear to him. So you're constantly meditating. When you are offering to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes certain items, and it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you're constantly meditating on the forms of the Lord. And the last one is in the flower of truth. We are basically offering, keeping the truthfulness in mind. So the four tenets or the four pillars of Dharma, which is austerity, cleanliness, truthfulness, and compassion, is built into offering. And then whenever you are offering water, think about the devotees who are shedding tears for Lord. So just when you offer water in the form in a cup, that is one form offering, which is wonderful. But also people who cry for Lord by shedding tears, they're also offering water. So there are deep philosophy and meditational aspect built into this verse. But this is something which we can all take away based on the pillars of Dharma, why what you offer to the Supreme is so critical. So the basic principle of bhakti, as we discussed, is we should shun the sense of proprietorship. A gardener can take flowers from garden where he works. When he does that, it's a sin, because that's not his garden. It belongs to somebody else. He's just a worker here. He's just maintaining it. We are here temporarily, and we are here to be part and parcel of the higher plan of the Supreme. So, but if we start consuming the worldly activities, the worldly items without offering, it is actually a sin. That's why offering in devotion or any practice is so critical, because this world doesn't belong to us, it belongs to somebody else. And we are here temporarily using this world. We're using the service. When you're using the service, we should have a basic sense of humility in first asking that can we all use it. So whenever we offer to Krishna, we say that, hey Krishna, this world belongs to you, and we're just going to consume a little bit. So first you offer, and then we are going to partake. So the enjoyment angle when you offer is there for Krishna, you're not supposed to enjoy. So the enjoyment means bhoga. So that means anything you're offering is to be enjoyed by Krishna. So it's a bhoga for Krishna. But when Krishna glances, as you know, Krishna is absolute. So he can see from his ear, he can eat from his eyes. Jagannath has so big eyes, just by pure glancing, he can eat it. So he's so absolute. Don't think that just by putting the food in front, Krishna is not eating it. Actually, Krishna eats anything you give with love. And he's saying this in this verse. Anything you love, give with love, with bhakti, he accepts it. So Krishna can accept anything. We cannot eat from our eyes or ears, but we should grow a tendency to hear scriptures from our ears. So when you go and take scriptural reference from your ears, it goes into the entire system and our entire system get cleansed. Likewise, Krishna is saying, I can eat from my eyes. You just have to offer it with love. So what are the things we have to offer? We have to offer the sattvic elements where there's no violence, there is shama, there is compassion, and so on. We discussed in the Puspa angle from the Pancharatra, and we have to also offer with devotion, because anytime when there is love, there is an element of sacrifice. If you love somebody, you go out of the way to buy them something. So there is an element of tyaga or an element of sacrifice built into it. So whenever you do any sacrifices, when you offer to the Supreme, it is very pleasing to the Supreme. So some of the examples, when Lord Ram used to get offerings from his brothers and sisters when he was the king, he always used to say, you're doing it wonderful, you're so beautiful, it's so tasty, but you know what? The little bear which Mother Savri used to give me, that is the topmost. And that bear used to be first tasted by Savri to make sure that it is tasty enough for Ramji. So, in other words, in a material sense, Sabri was giving jhuta to Ram, but still Ramji was so dear to that thing. So, whenever in the later part of his days, when he is receiving offerings from others, he will always remember Mother Shabri's offering. And Krishna, he's eating Chappan Bhog all the time in various different places in Jagannath Puri. But when Sudama came in, he just ran and he took the puffed rice, the old puffed rice done when Sudama and Krishna used to be students under Sandipani Muni, and they spent countless days and nights talking about various different things. And that love was so budding that when Sudama came, he didn't mind all the things Rukmini Maharani prepared and everything. He just ran to take the puffed rice of Sudama. And when Lord Krishna came to be the mediator between Pandavas and Kauravas, Duryodhan lavishly through a party, a huge party, and he made so many things. He created a beautiful jewelry, plate, a plate made up of this ornamental metals, gold, diamond, and then he was trying to offer something which he thought would please. But Krishna, after the mediation, after being the mediator, left Duryodhan's place, and he was a bit hungry, and he went to Vidurji's house. Actually, Vidurji was not there. Vidurain was there. Vidurji's wife was there. So when Vidurji's wife saw Krishna, tears started falling. As you can see, with the first intent, with tears falling, you're offering water right then and there. When tears fall, when you offer something, it is actually you're constantly meditation, so it can melt you with tears. So when with so much, so she was so filled with love that she let Krishna sat, and then she opened the peel of the banana, threw the pulp of the banana, and was giving the peel to Krishna, and Krishna was accepting the peel of the banana, which you and me throw away every day and night. But Vidurayan's peel of the banana was accepted by Krishna, and the pulp was going to the trash can. And then Krishna was so pleased. He says, "Mother, I'm very hungry, so get something to eat." So Vidurayan went, and the spinach or the sag, which is actually in the most neglected place under the window, the bathua sag, which you may have seen in many different Asian markets, which are often, not very planned cultivation. It is unplanned cultivation. Vidurayan gets that, makes a dish out of it, and gives it to Krishna, and then Krishna receives it so beautifully. So till today, in many different places where this pastime was enacted in Uttarakhand and UP area, they still offer Bathua Sag to Krishna, because the scriptures say that it is very pleasing to Krishna. It embodies the fact that love and devotion is more important than anything else. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, so going slightly into the technicalities of how to offer, because we all are practitioners, we all are sadhakas in our house, trying to be Krishna consciousness or trying to do devotional service in any way. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Tulasi dalamatrena jalasya chulukenava vikri nite swam atmaman bhaktabhyo bhaktavatsala. That means Sri Krishna, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, sells himself to a devotee who offers him merely a tulasi leaf and a palmful of water. So Tulasi Maharani, in the month of November and October, we're going to discuss a lot about Tulsi Maharani. That's when the Tulsi Salagram Vivaha is, and Tulsi is very dear to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, whatever you offer, you have so many imperfections. If you just put a leaf of Tulsi on that, you made, rice, dal, chole, and some sabji, just put a leaf on the rice, another leaf on dal, another leaf on other items, and offer a palmful of water. And there are many techniques to offer. There are many mantras, there are many mudras people do. They want to see the reflection of the Lord in Jagannath Puri and so on. So those are technicalities. But if you do not know the technicalities, it's absolutely fine. But a little technicality you can end up doing is put a little leaf of tulsi on each of these items and offer a little water, trying to clean his hand before he ends up eating. He is going to come and take it. And then after you offer, after 10 minutes, you offer another palm of water so that Krishna is washing his hands so that he can go back to the altar, and then take it and take that item and mix it in your other items you prepare. And then after Krishna has done the bhoga or the enjoyment of what you have done, it becomes a remnant or a prasad for you. So what is bhoga is not for yourself, it's for Krishna, and the remnant is for you, for you to take it with your family or distribute it among others. So very clearly, Tulsi Maharani is very dear to Krishna. Wherever Tulsi Maharani is, Krishna will come running and accept it for you. So we discussed what Krishna takes, how Krishna takes, and that some little technicalities as to how Krishna will receive our offering if offered with love and devotion, with a little tulsi and a palmful of water. We can go on and on. This verse is so powerful that it has changed lives of many people, has changed the eating habits of many people. But if you eat how Krishna is mentioning, only prasad, anything which has been detoxified from reactions by Krishna by having a glance at it, then you are only consuming prasad, and that prasad doesn't have any reaction, and it will give you good health. That means whenever we talk about ABCD of Krishna consciousness being association, The first thing in Krishna consciousness is association. B is books, with what we're discussing today. C, chanting. Chanting is 90% bhakti, we discussed last time. And D is diet. So the D of Krishna consciousness is presented right in front of you by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this beautiful verse 9.26. So you can take some aspects from this verse in practicing Krishna consciousness by the process of offering bhoga and taking only the remnants of the bhoga, which is the prasad. So with that, we'd like to end here. Any question or comments or reflections you have, we can discuss in the next 5-10 minutes. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have a question. So what if, for example, you are staying in US and unfortunately, I mean, we cannot have tulsi, planted because I tried a lot. So due to the climate, probably, so means it's quite tough to make, tulsi grow. But I have seen that in a temple it is managed in a very good way. So how we will manage it? Means how we will give the offering?
Wonderful question, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, in many different places in which are cold, it's very difficult to take fresh tulsi leaves as an offering in each of this. So, what we had done in some places actually is so all the leaves which are fallen are often dried leaves. So we collect all the dried leaves and put it in a place which is where it is nicely maintained over a period of time. So the dried leaves also you can offer, Prabhuji, on each of these items. And sometimes when the dried leaves end up becoming powdery, and the desire has to give anything which is fresh, but Krishna understands the restrictions all of us have in our lives. So even if you end up giving a dried tulsi leaf or a little bit powdery tulsi leaf, it becomes totally dry, he would accept. But it is just a matter of sort of practicing that. So that when we do not end up getting a fresh tulsi leaf, because if you go to ISKCON Toronto, for example, the entire second floor of that building above where Lord Jagannath and Radha Krishna is, the entire floor is filled with tulsi plant. So most of the time in any ISKCON temple, you should end up getting, I mean, we are lucky that we are in New Jersey. In other places you may not, but you'd always get little tulsi plant. And with the greenhouse, with the plant light, we can keep them going all throughout. So that's why we say, if you can take care of tulsi mai at home, take it. If you cannot take it,
Yes.
don't let her pass away. So there is plant lights, there is greenhouse, there are matajis who can give wonderful techniques to prolong that. But otherwise, to answer your question, you can always give dried tulsi leaves, Prabhu.
Sure.
Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other comments? Because this can be a very good technical discussion. Yes, Prabhu. Any other comments or questions you may have as far as this verse is concerned, or reflections? Some of you nicely contribute all the time. If you have any thoughts, please go ahead.
So yeah, I had just comments or reflections on this verse, which is really powerful to me. So here they talk about why you should offer, right? So that example was really nice, and then clear that it is essential to offer. Like, why should we offer? That is covered. What to offer is also being covered over there, and how to offer is also being covered there. And then the other thing which was really eye-opening is that the meaning of that pushpa and the connecting that to the different aspects of our what you call, it's not quality, but it's like just the tenets of our life. That was amazing. I didn't thought of, like, I whenever I had read this, I didn't connect that way. So really powerful, which only came out of because of this satsang. So the reason I'm saying is I couldn't understand or correlate only because of this satsang or things. It looks really amazing.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing your heart, Prabhuji. So on that topic of, see, there are some flowers which get generated from the fungus of the from the fungus of some remnant. So there, in the initial stage of our bhakti, we may offer a lot of things, but as we read and we associate in this forum, we realize that those flowers who are getting sustenance from various different aspects are not offerable to Krishna. So, Lord Shiva, Shivratri went, we last time we discussed in our Srimad Bhagavatam class, the glories of Lord Shiva, Vaishnavanam Yathasambhu. Lord Shiva loves Baal, right? So whenever we offer something to Lord Shiva, we offer a Baal leaf on that. So likewise, anything which has an element of violence or element of things, gradually we choose not to offer. So Prabhu, you it rightly touched your chord in the sense that gradually, if we're offering something to Lord Jagannath or Lord Krishna, we, based on the scriptures, there are certain flowers, certain fruits they like, we tend to do that. Lord Shiva, we tend to do that. So we have to keep in mind some of the pastimes, some of the exhibits they ended up doing, so that whenever we are offering, we are trying to recreate that feeling or that method of meditation. And actually, Pancharatra Vidhi has taken it and put it in the scriptural form. And thank you for opening up and sharing. Any other comments or questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Nice class. So I have one question. So the flowers also, we are not getting fresh flowers every day. Like we have to keep flowers in the refrigerator, and we have to. So is that good, Prabhuji? Like, because they are not fresh actually. Like we keep refrigerating and we have to keep it.
Yeah. So wonderful question. This is exactly a practical question. So say, for example, this question has come up many times in direct way. See, let's give an example. Rath Yatra, for example. Rath Yatra happens in Ashada Shukla Paksha Ditya, right? But Ashada Shukla Paksha Ditya in Australia is actually a freezing time. You cannot take Lord Jagannath out because Lord Jagannath is not impersonal. He's a person. So we have to make sure whenever you take Lord Jagannath, he can go on a yatra. So that's the reason why you'll see in many different places they do Rath Yatra on different dates. But if you stay ritualistic in our mind, we'll never grow up. But if we have love, if we have bhakti, we'll always grow. So to your question, as long as you are taking care in getting the flower from ShopRite, cutting it, putting it in a Ziploc, and putting it in a fridge because you do not have a garden in your house, Krishna is seeing that you are making an attempt. You're seeing, you're going out of the way to really do all of these. And Krishna will be very pleased. So as long as it's not stale, as long as it is, you're making a good attempt, You tried some creepers in your house or little plants in your house. It didn't go well, and you made an attempt, but still when you bought a bouquet and cut them and put it in a ziploc to keep it fresh, sometimes, Prabhu, as far as garland is concerned, often the frozen flowers in India, there is abundance of flowers. You can just go out, make plugs, as I'm seeing here. As I'm making my, I'm giving some katha in ISKCON Bhubaneswar now as well. When I go, I see, I get those garlands. They're so freshly made. It's not possible because we get import quality garlands into New Jersey from different places. So it is expected that, but sheer attempt that we are making, trying to get courier from Coimbatore, from international shipping place, during wonderful Rath Yatra, Janmashtami, and Gaur Purnima and Radhashtami, we get lotus from India. So Krishna is seeing our attempt. So to answer your question, Prabhu, you're making a good attempt. You tried things, but as long as it is not stale, Krishna is going to accept it, Prabhu. But your ability, your endeavor to get that going is praiseworthy and noteworthy. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have one recommendation. Wigman flowers are far better than if you want to buy any Indian flowers. I always go get flowers from Wigman because very beautiful, decorative, and fresh. Also, it most of the time it comes.
Yes. Yeah, there you go, Prabhu. So you have a suggestion, and it's actually very good. I have also seen Wegmans has a very good collection. So
Yes.
there you go, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing. These are the practical manifestation of this Bhakti Vriksha. This Bhakti Vriksha is not just a theoretical thing. This 30-40 minutes we meet is this, but truly this shapes our Bhakti life. And these are all practical tips on how to meditate on the form during certain pastime of Krishna. Krishna used to put some bluish flower on the ear. People meditate and beautify Krishna in their house so beautifully. So this is the real end game. The theory, this is just the initial thing, but once you take it away and do whatever you want to do, it really impresses and gives a different tone, different life to your bhakti life. Any other comments or questions
Hare
or
Krishna.
realizations?
Yeah, I just wanted to put some comments on this love and devotion part. So nice discussion with everybody, and I was just meditating on this Ramji and Sabri pastime. Like this is actually related to the practical life. I think Niranjan Prabhu and Pratap Prabhu can correlate it more now because both of them have small kids, like in the infant or in the toddler stage. Like when we have small kids, right? And we have kids, and we have seen how the kids grow. When a small kid, once very new, and they explore new food items, like when the mothers give them to eat something or father give them to eat. So what they do when they explore something and they put it in the mouth. So they'll put it in the mouth and they'll like it and they'll take it out. Suppose there is a piece of mango, the kid is eating, baby is eating, it will lick it and take it out. He saw the dad is coming. In the same licked hand with the licked mango, the baby will offer to the dad. Initial look, anybody else, if they see, they will feel, oh, the saliva is there. But the dad happily takes it because the innocent and the love of the kid, the dad is sold over there and he accepts it. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he accepts everything from us with a love and devotion. That's one thing I just wanted to correlate with this. Another thing I just wanted to add here is being like sometimes we tell that this is vegetarianism. We eat vegetarian food. Here Prabhupada says us being vegetarian is not enough. We have to be Prasadarian or Krishnatarian. Within vegetarian also, we have also because since we are not offering, we are indirectly we are eating unoffered food. But when you offer to Krishna, basically everything becomes spiritualized. So then automatically we become Krishnatarian. So this is the two things I just wanted to share here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And here is Pratap Prabhu's photo of his altar. And you see how freshly he has got flowers from Wegman, and the bowls of the flower is very crisp and looking very colorful. So thank you for sharing your Gopalji's darshan to us. Shri Shri Gopalji ki jai.
Jai Sri Gopal Ji ki jai.
And
Also, one
and-
technical aspect, Prabhuji. Here, the pushpam also, one is the flower for offering, one flower for what we can offer as prasadam also, Prabhuji, like cauliflower, which are basically these vegetables are also flowers, because Krishna also somewhere Prabhupada, I don't know where, Prabhuji, he tells that what kinds of foods we can't offer. Somebody asked the devotee, some acharyas, now they are acharyas, they asked that can we offer marijuana? It is a LSD basically. It is a leaf only, right? So can we offer that? So the intent is that one, as Mataji and Prabhuji told, love is the main thing, and also we should not offer for our sense gratification purposes. Like, okay, I like to be high, so I will offer this this, and the other flower on the positive side of it is a cauliflower or a cabbage. These are nothing but also kind of flowers only, Prabhuji. So we can offer that also. And also somewhere it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, I don't exactly now remembering, Prabhuji, there are 4 kinds of foods which we can offer, which basically gets digested. The one which can be licked, one which can be, I think, I don't remember, but we can correlate to that also, that if we cannot do any of those 4 types, we should not basically offer it. For example, the bones, right? Like the chicken and all these bones, they don't fall under any of those 4 types of the digestible food which can digest. So we should not offer those also, though they may technically fall under such things. So I wanted to point out that fact.
thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that. Those things we will definitely look for those 4 things. I have read that as well, and see, that's where the anatomy and physiology of our human teeth comes into picture. And there is some wonderful comments by Gaurang Prabhu on that, and many other senior Vaishnavas about our digestive quality and our sharpness or of the teeth in comparison to lion. So they are amazing reading material and discussion material we can pick up some other time. But thank you for sharing that, Prabhu. Very nice. So we can end here. Thank you all for participating. It's actually wonderful to sort of discuss this. This is a very this is a words which can touch anybody, from a kid to a householder to a very senior person. So keep this verse very close to your heart, because this will set the tone for because what we get if you eat certain things, it gives you unnecessary weird thought process, this that, but when you eat prasad, it gives you a very focused intent. So this verse is very practical in our onset for Krishna consciousness. We have Gaur Purnima coming up. Other places they celebrate Holi as well. We'll also have Holi in our temple. But during this time, we take vows to reinforce our commitment to chant. If you're chanting 2 rounds, try to make it 4. If you're 4, try to make it 8. You get certificates from the temple. You offer as much as possible and eat from the offerings because this will inculcate that habit that, hey, if I eat something without offering to Krishna, Krishna is hungry at home. So that love, that caring will get inbuilt in you. So do that all the time, as you pursue um, Krishna consciousness. We'll have certificates for people who are taking vows on the day of Gaur Purnima in our temple. Gaur Purnima is wonderfully celebrated. The 3 appearance day of the Lord in our temple. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, Gaur Purnima, Lord Jagannath's appearance day, Snan Yatra, and Krishna's appearance day on Janmashtami, and Radharani's appearance day on Radhastami, and Balram's appearance day, Balabhadra's appearance day on Rakhi Purnima, or Balram Jayanti is celebrated in a big way. And also Nityanand Prabhu's appearance day, which we just celebrated, Nityanand Prabhu's. So there are big celebrations. The appearance day of the Supreme Personality is around the corner. Do as much service as possible in the temple, because they need a lot of help. But if you want to sort of take vows in front of the Lord on that day, because generally on the day of Gaur Purnima in ISKCON temples, there are vows, there are a lot of initiations and so on. Just reach out to us. We'll get the certificates prepared for you beforehand. And if there is no other question, we can or comment, we can end here.
Next
Yes,
week I have a service at Govinda's at the same time, so I may not be able to join.
Okay, bro. So if
we have 150
yes, bro.
people catering, that's why.
Catering, wonderful.
Evening, in the
So
evening.
yes, bro. And that is probably a week before the Gaur Purnima, right? So that is not the Gaur Purnima weekend, right?
No,
Because Gaur Purnima is on a Monday.
12th. Yeah, that is 17th, Prabhuji, and this is on 12th.
Right.
Gaur
Okay.
Purnima is on Thursday.
Thursday, okay, sorry. So we'll continue our BV. Sorry, Prabhu, we'll miss you. And if you can join for 15-20 minutes, it will be wonderful. But thank you for doing all the service in the temple. Because when people come and do their events in our temple, it's very fulfilling to serve them. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of bliss from that. So continue that.
No doubt about that.
Yeah. So
Krishna,
we'll
Prabhu,
end.
you are in the Prabhu, you are coming back. You are already in India or Prabhu in US?
I'm in India, Prabhu. My dad is actually not doing very well. He had a brain stroke, and he has survived that since last by Jagannath's mercy, he's survived that since last 50 days. So we are serving him. So it's wonderful to serve him, because when your dad has gone through, you'll realize that your dad is a little big boy, and he is so much of compassion. So always when you get an opportunity, when the final days are in sight, so if you just serve them, it's very fulfilling, because you will see that and you will see the entire Krishna consciousness cycle, that they have eventually become a kid before they. So I'm seeing that as I experience it. So it's wonderful. I'm in India, Prabhu, to answer your question.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, it is enlightening us also. This is great, Prabhu. You are serving your father 50 days. This is a great thing, Prabhu. So this is a lesson for us also.
It's all because of Corona, Mataji, that it's happening. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to get off-site work and all that. So yeah, it's something is working out. Let's see how it goes. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay.
On this, Prabhuji, on this note, there is on the same topic, there is a topic, I think, Rompad Swami Maharaj. You are what you eat. We can read that, Prabhuji. You are what you eat, which tells exactly on this verse only.
Exactly. Whenever you take oily thing, your thought process is different. When you take sattvic thing from a temple, it's so there's less soil, less chili, and so it's very. So it rightly said, we are what we eat actually, and Rumpad Maharaj has some nice presentations, and we all should make an attempt to read that. So thank you for sharing that, Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Vancha kalpa taruvescha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Vaishnava vrinda ki jai.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hello.
Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jagannath Prabhu ki jai.
Hello. Hello.